Part 4 of Azure tutorial. In this video, we will learn the difference between Azure Availability Set and Azure Availability Zone. So, in our previous video, we have learned what are Azure geographies, what are Azure regions, and what are Azure Availability Zones. If you haven't watched those videos, I strongly recommend you to do so. The link is in the description below. So, what is an Azure data center composed of? It is composed of physical groups with its own power supply and network switch, and the logical groups with its own power supply and network switch. As as, as discussed in earlier video, the physical groups are called fault domain, and the logical groups are called update domain. So, what is suppose we have a data center full of computers of users' data, and which is powered by only one power supply and one network switch. So, imagine what would happen if the power supply or network switch fails. All the data of the users in that customer's field. Imagine if it was the company of Google or Amazon, what would be the loss to the business? That's what availability set or availability zone is for. So availability set is composed of individual data centers with its own power supply and network switch. So even if the power supply and network switch in one data center fails, only the servers in those data centers fail. The rest of the servers are still up and running. So, availability sets are in simple terms are the combination of all domains and updates of domains. That also stands true for availability zones. So, availability zones is in simple terms a set of data center with its own power supply, cooling, and network speed. So, what about the virtual machine SLA? So, Azure provides 99.9% uptime SLA with a single virtual machine, 99.95% uptime SLA with two or more virtual machines in an availability set, and 99.99% uptime SLA with if we placed two or more virtual machines in availability zone. So, what's the main difference between availability set and availability zone is availability set protects us from failures within data centers and availability zones protects us from entire data center failure. As discussed earlier, availability set provides 99.95% uptime SLA and availability zone provides 99.99% uptime SLA. That's it in this video. Thank you for listening.